Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse opens on Peter Parker's origin story with the line,
"Alright, let's do this one last time."
because we've done this before. In the next 2 minutes, the movie references the product Coca-Cola, Peter's Uncle Ben but not by name, Uncle Ben's death, the movie Spider-Man 2, the movie Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2 again, the movie Spider-Man 3, Christmas Carol titles, the 1960s animated series, and the experience of buying a janky novelty treat from an ice cream truck, among many other references throughout the rest of the movie. And it explains none of them. But that's okay, because we've done this before. Spider-Verse is a part of the macro Spider-Man franchise, sure, but it's not an installment of a specific series or continuity. It's just one Spider-Man in a giant multiverse of unrelated Spider-Man content. Connectivity within that multiverse is the whole point of the movie. From a meta-narrative perspective, that's called intertextuality. It's the interrelationship between texts, the way that similar or related texts influence, reflect, or differ from each other. You understood all those references at the beginning of the movie because the movie is not just the movie itself. Spider-Verse is the first Spider-Man movie to use intertextuality for storytelling, but the franchise has been intertextually motivated for a long time. Just look at its prominent live-action iterations in the Sam Raimi trilogy, in the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy, and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Each focuses on the same character, but each made a pointed effort to differentiate itself from the others. Different love interests, different antagonists, different ages for Aunt May, all reflecting or differing from your knowledge of the text. By the time Tom Holland picked up the reins, or like the webs, the writers bypassed his origin story entirely. We've done this before. So, in a weird way, the MCU's version of the character doesn't actually make sense if you aren't familiar with the movies that preceded it. In a vacuum, why wouldn't Peter Parker be introduced with an origin story? Why not name drop the radioactive spider or Uncle Ben? It would seem like they're keeping it all a mystery, but you know they're not. Because the Spider-Man continuity isn't just this reboot or that reboot, it's the whole Spider-Man film library. You kinda just need to see them all to understand why certain creative decisions were made. The latest installment in the collection, Spider-Man Far From Home, introduces MCU Peter Parker to the wider multiverse, right on the heels of Into the Spider-Verse. That's led to some chatter about a crossover between those iterations, or with Sony's other financial hit Venom, or even with the Raimi and Tasm versions of the character. And my hot take is, yeah, let's do it. Let's canonize it all, yeah. Marvel and Sony have the opportunity to make the most ambitious crossover of all time again by validating our intertextual viewer experience in a movie. It also really helps that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Hardy, Oscar Isaac, Shamik Moore, Haley Steinfeld, and Jake Johnson are all actors who haven't been in the MCU before. It really spares us some awkward casting double dipping. Besides being awesome fan service, this crossover can tie up all the loose ends that licensing issues and movie cancellations had on the actual narrative. First, it can give closure to Maguire's and Garfield's Spider-Man. Maguire is a fan favorite to many, and the last time we saw him, he was doing, that, while Garfield's last appearance was just a mess of backdoor spin-offs. So let's shut those doors the right way. Second, it'll ground 2018's Venom in anything. It made close to $900 million worldwide, so neither Sony nor Marvel will want to write it off, but that doesn't fix how weird a Spider-Man-less Spider-Man villain movie is. Maybe openly connecting it to the rest of the franchise will help it feel less like an ostracized stepkid. And third, Into the Spider-Verse turned a lot of heads, Academy Award heads, with its stylish vision, diverse cast, and honest message. Things that MCU movies have struggled with in the past and are trying to make good on going forward. So instead of coyly doing this one last time, Marvel and Sony should leap into the Spider-Verse, the real Spider-Verse, and create something that we haven't done before. With its stylish vision, wow.